Instead of giving everything to the sheriff like she was supposed to do, she committed criminal contempt of court by holding onto all my stuff, not giving it back. As a matter of fact, she gave it away. She took some of it up to Montana, where she crossed state lines with stolen property. She threw a bunch away. Her dad threw away $340,000 of my three companies. I had gotten side jobs. I had three companies that I was running on the side, and I just started the last one up when she collapsed everything on me. I lost my workshop and all that and stuff. But gave away my property to people who came and found me and said, "Hey, am I supposed to have this?" Because she gave it to me, and I said, "No, but I can't really even store it right now, so we'll talk about it later," and stuff. She gave away a lot of personal items and stuff, destroyed a lot of personal items. Larry Griffel, it ended up taking things to the dump, he claims, but his license plate wasn't at the dump ever during that day. None of his license plates were, as a matter of fact. So he stole 2 truckloads of my stuff, which he admits on camera. I caught him, Larry Griffel, actually, for the third time. Larry and Shirley Griffel, I caught them at the bar drinking with my own personal property in the back of their truck. And when confronted by the sheriff, they lied to the sheriff saying it wasn't their property, which they later admitted it was their property on video after battering me, intimidating me, backing me up against the wall, striking me, trying to destroy my communication device during an altercation, something her dad also did on video. There's a lot of crimes that have been committed against me, I mean, by many people, tons of people that are all in on the conspiracy, including her father, which I'll be hopefully getting charges pressed on all of them for. But she held on to my stuff. She tried to starve me out. I lost a $36,000 potential contract. It would have cost me $50 and a little bit of paperwork to do to get a contractor license and everything and do that job. She refused to give me my tools back. She refused to talk to me like the coward she is, and she basically ruined my life. And I sat there starving for for 30 days plus. I was homeless, sitting in my car, looking at a home that she didn't even live in. She just wanted me thrown out of it, and so that's what she did. It was very cruel, very unjust, and not okay at all to do that. It was illegal, as a matter of fact. On top of all that, she also got a writ of restitution based on that fraudulent claim of under 5 acres, which she knew I occupied more than that. That's because we co-owned them together. By doing that, she only gave me 72 hours to remove everything, and again 72 hours to remove everything only, even though I occupied over 5 acres, which beside the point, it was illegal what she was doing on top of being illegal. You got an illegal writ of restitution based on an illegal fraud upon the court case that she had won by pretty much, I'm assuming that the magistrate judge and Paul Zumberg were friends or something like that, because there's no judge that I know that was an honest judge that would convict me on what she had evidence wise. I had put a bunch of things on the other property in a short amount of time that I had. My friends also helped me remove things. They went to 5 different locations because I didn't have anywhere to really put it. I didn't have a job, I didn't have any money, and I couldn't get a storage unit nearby. And then when those things went to the 5 different places, a lot of things were stolen from me, and a lot of stuff I had to leave behind. As a matter of fact, everything that I know of that was left behind on the one property was $512,000 worth of stuff that was destroyed or I had to leave behind or was stolen from me by her. $512,000 is a lot of money of stuff. $340,000 were my legal seeds per the Idaho Farm Act of 2018 that her father maliciously destroyed, laughing about it, as I have witnesses that state that that's exactly what happened. She took a bunch of money's worth of stuff, which would equate to grand theft up to Montana as well. The whole gang of them, the whole lot of the goon squad there, they really did me wrong. They broke a lot of laws to rip me off, basically. After the writ of restitution, she got a giant dumpster that she put inside in front of the driveway there. And Larry Griffel and Shirley Griffel, people who had access to all my belongings and had stolen from me and battered me, were throwing it away in the dumpster there. And I went on the second property to go get my winter clothes, and Ashbacher was just there bullshitting with Shirley and Larry Griffel, as they are friends. He wasn't called there or anything like that. And he came running over, trespassing onto the second property, claiming he was going to cite me for a trespass if I didn't get off my own property. He had no evidence whatsoever that it was not my property. I had no evidence that it was my property at the time either. But I showed him the video of Shirley and Larry Griffel in the battery. It's all on YouTube. You can see the video. And he did nothing about it. They were 100 feet behind him. He didn't make any arrests. He didn't do anything like that. He just didn't do anything about it. He threw me off my own second co-owned property, not letting me get my winter clothes for winter. And I sat all winter without any winter clothes, homeless. A friend of mine had sold his bar, and feeling bad for what had happened, he had given me $5,000 to get a lawyer, down payment on a lawyer, which I did, and I got a lawyer, and the lawyer took up a case against her, 12 counts, and everything like that, and put a Liz pendant on each property, because she and I were the rightful owners, so we put her name on the Liz pendants, and everything like that. But she had waited until my mechanics lien, which I'd taken out a mechanics lien under the advice of a friend as well, had expired, and she waited for that, and then she sold it in an arm's length deal to Bess and Grant Sadusky, her very good friends, which is against the law as well. It was meant to conceal the conspiracy that they're defrauding me and everything like that. She sold it for under half the market value at the time. On top of that, with the lit tenants and everything on it. I'd been driving by randomly one day and I saw Troy and Destry and Grant all down there, and so I pulled up and I explained to them, "Hey, listen, guys, this is under investigation. You know, lit tenants means buyer beware. Don't throw my stuff out because if you do, uh, you'll be held accountable for it. It's going to cost you money." There was no threats made, of course, but when I left, Troy Vias decided it was a good idea to call the sheriff and to let him know that I threatened him. Well, I have the whole conversation on video, and there's not a single threat that was made whatsoever. Troy Vias lied again to the police. The police tracked me down saying not to threaten him. I said I didn't threaten him, you know. And so under somebody's word again, Ashbacher tracked me down and told me not to threaten him and stuff. But it got ridiculous. Ashbacher really interfered a lot with the civil trial. With the purchase of the property, Grant and Destry Vias, they knew what they were doing. They knew it was both co-owned because, I mean, we told them many, many times. Not so much Grant, but Destry was well aware of it being co-owned. So was Troy Vias. And Troy Vias was there, as a matter of fact, as a city council member. So now you have city council members interfering with, or colluding with people to defraud people, which is a huge ordeal, really, when you think about it. But they they were included in the fraud, so I put them in the fraud. My lawyer put them in the fraud thing, the trial and everything. My lawyer realized I had no more money left, and he bailed on me. And it took 2 months, but he got a judge to finally say that he was no longer my lawyer. Well, in between that, when he was still my lawyer, her lawyer picked up Grant and Destry as a client and pulled three articles out of my case and took me to court for it before my case even happened, which is against the law. Not only that, he attacked me pro se, which is against the law as well, because I was represented by Dan Dumar, a very good lawyer, by the way, very nice man, honest man, unlike her lawyer. Um, and so basically, they illegally got a lit pendant removed. They illegally got a quiet title done and everything like that because I had to represent myself pro se because my lawyer wasn't representing me at the time for some reason. And it was all illegally done. So Grant and Destry were working on the property. They continued to work on the property, finishing up what I had done. I had done 80% of the build myself, you know, and everything, and it was 80% complete at least. We were going for our certificate of occupancy. There wasn't much left to do to get that. They interfered. They took over. They bought it illegally in an arm's length deal. That means every document they made was forged paperwork, knowing that it was co-owned by me and her. One day I was sitting there going to get these rocks that I thought was carbonado. We thought they were carbonado black diamond. Me and my buddy, he found a spot in Wyoming. We retrieved these rocks, and I hit them on the street in plain sight by my house. And then the winter was over, and they were kind of showing their black rocks, you know. So I said, let's go pick them up to my friends Cole and Ivy. Went to go pick him up in the truck, and as I'm picking him up, Cole decided he'd wander off and look inside the windows because Troy had stolen my wood stove and my freezer that I had taken out of the home and stored in the property that he tore down this mobile home. And I have witnesses that say he stole my wood stove. So Cole wanders over there to look for me. I didn't know he was doing that. I was busy picking up all my rocks, you know, as fast as I could. And he looks in the windows and then comes back and says, "Yeah, it's not in there." Well, then he goes, "I'm going to go grab a tire." I was in the driver's seat, and he drives on to the second property, and I couldn't do anything about it. I was in the driver's seat or anything like that. You know, he didn't really know that I wasn't supposed to be there, according to Ashbacher, which interfered in a civil case and deprived me of my civil rights on top of that, and access to my property, trespass the chattels. But he goes to get a tire. He jumps out, and Troy and Destry and all them had put up cameras on the home. And they came out screaming. They came back to the home there just up the road, I guess. And they basically were yelling at Cole. They trespassed onto my second co-owned property there, and without my permission, and were threatening Cole. And so he jumped in the driver's seat and go to leave. Well, Ashbacher and another associate come pulling in through the gated entry to the private road and instruct him to pull over on the side of the house, which is where the house was. And he pulls over just one car width, maybe 8 feet, something like that. Truck width, I should say. And I'm sitting in the front seat with this giant Rubbermaid on. I can't really see what's going on or anything like that. They pull him out, they pull Ivy out, and then Ashbacher sees me and he gets really excited. He's like, "Ben!" He says, "You get out of the car, right in the truck right now." And I said, "Is that a lawful command?" I said, "I haven't done anything wrong, you know." And so he says, "You get out right now as a command, you know." So I get out of the truck. He cuffs me upon Troy Vias' word. Troy Vias claims that we threw rocks at the house, that or one of us threw rocks at the house and moved a ladder to the escape hatch that I put up in the upper floor, which never happened. He has no video evidence of it or whatever, but he lied. Ashbacher cuffed me and had me sitting outside for 30 minutes, cuffed for everybody to see, acting like I'm a criminal. He also had gone to my house, or to other people's houses that I knew, instead of calling me directly to give me court paperwork, making it look like I was a wanted person, you know, a criminal. So he cuffs me. He ends up letting us go, saying that he's going to cite us for trespassing, even though I never trespassed. He put me on the property. As a matter of fact, commanded me to go onto the property out of the truck, and he thought I was on the property, but I'm not. There's a 42-foot egress for Silver Star and the fire suppression deal, and so he didn't actually put me on the property, which I told him in an email that, hey, I'm not on the property. I showed him the GIS and everything. You want to clear this up now and save the court time? He didn't want to do that. He says, not how it's worked. What they were doing was they were making it to where I had to keep on going to court for these little frivolous things, knowing I was homeless, had no home, was living, in the woods basically, and had no phone, no internet access, no power, no nothing. And so they were taking advantage of an indigent person that had been made indigent through her fraud. I had no money, no nothing. I couldn't even get a home because she put that on my record. Methamphetamine eviction for a home I co-own. So it was hard for me to even get a job. They research your credit and everything, and there it is. Methamphetamine eviction for, what she lied about in court, fraud upon the court she had committed, making false evidence to actually get fraud upon the court as well. So they were taking advantage of a guy who was down and out, and they kept hitting me with all these cases. Her lawyer did and everything, stalling me. And Ashbacher kept trying to get me with different things. He pulled me over illegally, laid in wait at Buck's gas station there, and followed me. I've got witnesses for that as well. Pulled me over for nothing. I had all my registration and things like that. And he says, "Oh, your registration's no good." I said, "Oh, that's good. I just went to DMV and everything like that." He advised me to get out of town at that time too, which is against the law as well. I'll go ahead and stop this video. I got to go, but I'll finish this up for everybody here in a bit.